So this is my painting hut, hidden in the Auroville forest that's filled with colors. In fact, here is an Arno Stern workshop, which is not at all consistent with Parisian workshops, one would say. It is a free activity which is based on a non-judgmental environment and on the spontaneous expression of oneself, with respect to each and all. As such, this is not an art class. This is not a teaching room. I'm just rendering a service, that's it. It's essentially a privileged place of encounter with oneself, and all ages are mixed in here. Adults, elderly, youngsters, various schools come here. Here, in this hut, there are 5 Auroville schools visiting, from kindergarten up to the transition school, where kids are up to 14 of age. So that's it. There's a mixture of ages, which also allows creating such a non-judgmental environment. There are also adults, of course, residents of Auroville. There are plenty of connections between the activity, the Arno Stern concept, and Auroville, actually. As for me, when I discovered this, I said to myself, this is definitely made for Auroville. Because within a workshop, there are all ages, as we have already said, there are all nationalities and all colors, and everyone is in a non-competitive atmosphere. But at the same time, and thanks to the group energy, there is a stimulation for creativity. So in fact, the workshop allows this and enables connections without having to speak to each other in a group energy, but where everyone is respected for what he or she is, that is to say, being individually connected to what we are, and at the same time, among others. How to achieve one's goals, be oneself completely, but among others, without competition. So for me, this is the ideal of Auroville, in fact. It is an ideal mini community, as we try, in a very small extent, in dribs and drabs, to create this group energy, a fraternity in fact, and where everyone can be oneself, even in this fraternity. Another thing too, it is, for example, in the workshop in here, so there is no judgment. And this is a very important key to communication between human beings. If we could get rid of judgment, I think we would be much more connected to each other. And then the paintings, we don't take them. This is also why, that is to say that the paintings remain in the workshop. It is not to show what we paint, it is for oneself, it is for experiencing a process of connecting with oneself. And so there is not even an invisible spectator who would be dad, mom, or my friend who would see my painting later on. There is only me with myself facing this mirror, which is my white sheet, or my sheet that will be colored. So this completely changes creativity. What will come out of the brush has nothing to do, since it is not the result of external expectations, but really of an inner connection with oneself. And so, keeping the paintings, avoid going into things like, I'll be painting based on a look, even if the look would come afterwards, during an exhibition at your end or anything else. There's nothing like this. Everything remains here. And so one really realizes that because of that, there is a transformation that's taking place. Thanks to this technique, there is a transformation of oneself because it allows getting really spontaneously with what we are. As for Arno Stern, in fact, he speaks of spontaneous creativity. He analyzes it as a language coming directly from within the body, a memory of the time when one was in the womb. I also think, in relation to the Auroville context, that there is, in this context of freedom offered in the workshop, there is also something else that speaks, that is of an inner dimension, and that does not prevent anyone to be connected to an organic memory. This is quite complex indeed, and I believe that this intuition we can feel, or at least what is certain is that this energy goes through and shall be expressed on that sheet. When it is left free to make its way as it wants, it allows a transformation and really creates a human transformation. That is why, for me, this activity is completely connected to Auroville. It's that we are here to try to advance man a little bit, the human being, and to move towards a better place. And so, in this sense, creativity can be really a powerful vehicle. I think that freedom is one of the essential conditions for creativity. There is no creativity without freedom, and there is no progress without freedom. So actually, as part of this workshop, and also as part of Auroville, there is an immense freedom here. This freedom allows precisely gaining the joy of creating according to what one is, in relation to why we came to this earth, what we embody, what is our goal in life or destiny. When we have such a freedom, and when we can be creative, we realize what we have to bring is unique as an individual on this planet, and this among others. So There are the two dimensions here, and I think that creativity is the link precisely between what we are individually and which we must express, we must achieve in a lifetime, and then the community, sharing with the community. How to, it is a link with others, how it can serve others, how it brings them joy. It connects people to each other. That's it. And I think, well, actually, that all this is also a great vector for joy. The painting game concept, developed by Arno Stern, has now existed for over 70 years and has taken shape over the world, including a new studio that just opened in British Columbia, Vancouver, and it is managed and facilitated by Espace Bilodo.